So, last week, when I tried to get you guys ready for our review of this, I said it's not going to be one of our normal post-Geekout reactions, because in the post-Geekout reaction, we do the non-spoiler part up front, give our score, then we do the spoiler video. But I said, you know what, there's probably going to be so much to talk about in this, we're just going to divide into two videos. We're going to make the non-spoiler review, and then we're going to make the spoiler review, and you guys said you're probably just doing that so you can get more views, and you're 100% right on that. But about 5 minutes into this movie, I went, I don't know how we're going to not do a spoiler talk.
There's a lot that goes on in this movie that you do not see in the trailers.
The entire time I was watching this, I kept thinking of the phrase that kind of got a bad name recently in cinema, but I still say that it can be a very positive thing for films. The term subverting expectations, in which you basically make the audience think one thing's going to happen, and then you go, no, we're not even close to doing something like that. And I think that's mostly a positive in here.
Well,
but,
it depends.
Yeah, it depends.
But
I will just say, the trailers do not let you know what this is. The trailers make you think that this whole film is the Avengers getting everybody together, getting ready for one last shot at Thanos. There's that. That is in here.
But that's like
But there is so much more to this movie.
That is just the tip of the iceberg.
There is a whole other plot to this film that isn't even hinted at in the trailers.
Honestly.
So we're going to try. And that's like the A plot in here. Like, them fighting Thanos is the B plot in this movie. And it's so weird to say that.
It's like, honestly, I'm glad because, like, lately we've been discussing, like, how the trailers would spoil everything. So this is, like, the complete opposite.
Man, I have said this recently. I have tried to stop watching trailers because I like going into movies as fresh as possible. You could have watched every single clip that they showed for this movie. You would still be going in 100% fresh. You are not prepared for what this movie actually is. So we're going to try and talk about this film without revealing what this movie actually is.
Which is going to be very difficult.
This is going to be the super vague one. So after you see the movie and you want more of an in-depth discussion about this thing, come back in like a few days when we do the actual spoiler talk.
Yeah.
I will be putting it up in a few days because I do want to give people time on this one.
Yeah, of course.
Because here in New York, tickets sold out instantly. We saw this thing at 7:25 a.m. And I still got tickets on the day that they went on sale, and Thanos snapped those things away. Just bam. Half of all the seats in New York are gone.
He doesn't want to see him get defeated.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's the big spoiler?
I guess you guys know the good argument. Okay. Fine. Fair. That's the most spoilery thing we get. So, what this movie is that it is, the Avengers, they have to get ready to go off and fight Thanos, but the rest of the film, again, without spoiling anything, it's basically a victory lap, is what this movie is. I was talking in a video recently in which I was talking about my top 10 favorite moments from the MCU. I was talking about the Battle for New York and how a lot of people said, well, that seems like it's just a big fireworks show. And I was like, yeah, because everyone said you couldn't make a movie with big, colorful, bright superheroes in multiple different films all coming together for one big shared film. It's never going to happen. And they made it happen, and they made it work incredibly well. They kind of earned a big victory. They kind of earned a big fireworks show for themselves. This entire movie almost feels like they went, we did it. We made it to Endgame. 11 years worth of movies, all leading up to this moment. We did it. So this entire film is really kind of them. It's not like it's a clip show or anything. It's not like it's them like sitting around in the shawarma place from the post-credits. It's going, man, you remember that time that happened? Oh boy. But it is like a lot of like, remember this character, remember this character, remember this character, remember this place, remember that thing?
Yeah, like all the small things that like occurred in the previous Marvel movies come back in a big way.
Yes, they really, like, I wouldn't even say small things, but like characters who you were like, well, we're never going to see them again. Oh, shoot, they're here for like a little bit in here too. Like there is one particular actor, actress, I'll keep it super vague, but there is one performer who is kind of notorious for not wanting to do these movies. Not even notorious, but it was one that was like, yeah, we all know that you didn't want to actually do these. Even they come back for this. Granted, it's for literally 5 seconds. Like, it was you have me for... That was it. That was all the time you have. that was it. You wasted it. I hope you got some good footage of me. Bye, everybody. Yeah, so, but I was still like, oh my God, they actually did that. And when the person is first seen, they're way in the background. And I was like, stunt double, not really them. They're being shot from behind, it's not really them. And then you do get like one shot of them, and it's like, that's not computer generated. That was actually, they actually showed up for this thing. So it was like, wow, even this person who like notoriously hated doing these, even they were willing to suck it up and be like, all right, fine, I'll do it.
Do it for Endgame.
Do it for Endgame. And part of me is, I don't want to say upset. Part of me does kind of look at it like, it is a little bit like they're just going like, everybody line up for your like slap, 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 like just going down the chain like, yeah, we did. Yeah, you were there. Hey, remember when you were here for this thing? Nice seeing you again. Hey, everybody, remember that thing? It does feel a little like that. But at the same time, this movie, because it's, goddamn, it's a Marvel Cinematic Universe film, and they're always so goddamn charming. The charm is able to make me overlook that. And on the other hand, as I said, they kind of earned it.
Oh, yeah. Like, not only did they earn it, but it was like, every, like, little cameo was, like, absolutely, like, worth
Perfect.
it. Yes, perfect.
Except for, like I said, the one person who was famous for not wanting to do it.
Yeah, but...
But that was just like, they got him.
Yeah.
All right, cool, that. But yeah, there's a lot of other people who come back, and when you look at them in here, you just go, oh my God, they actually did that.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go. Now, I will say that there is, okay, again, this is one of those things I'm going to have to be super vague on. There's a lot of positives in here. We're going to get to the positives in a second. But as far as negatives go for this thing, I can say if you're one of those people who worry about plot holes, there's going to be a lot towards the end of this. There's going to be a lot of things at the end of this movie that you're going to be like, but wait, then doesn't this thing, that thing, and this thing, doesn't A, B, C, and then D? Don't worry about it. Just don't ask. It's cool. Just don't ask any questions about that. Yeah, there are a lot of things in here that made me go, well, that doesn't quite make sense.
Now, I just rolled with the punches. At this point, I don't care.
You gotta do it. You have to roll the punches on this one.
I don't care. I just want to see everybody team up and beat the crap out of Thanos.
You just want to see Thanos get his. Which that's something that I gotta say about this. As I just mentioned a moment ago, this is a very charming film. It's so weird that this follows up the darkest film that they probably ever had. And it's probably one of the darkest superhero films that has ever been made. Mm-hmm. And yet this is one of their lightest films, I'd say. Like, this is one of their most fun movies. This is one of their, at least in my opinion it was. You gave me a little bit of a like, I don't know, like, so I don't know.
Oh, no, I was busy paying attention to Peach.
Oh, yeah, our dog's down here, so.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's so weird that I was like, oh, God, Infinity War was so dark. This movie's going to be even darker. No, this movie's back to being fun Marvel stuff. There's still dark stuff in here.
No, it's like Infinity War was like the darkness before the dawn, and, you know, Endgame is the dawn. Because, like, you know, you have to have everything. Like, not everything has to be, like, completely happy and wrapped up in a pretty little bow. Yeah. But it's like, come on, we need something more uplifting. I mean, we need some hope. We need something. If
you did a movie marathon, that would mean that you would have 6 hours of total darkness if this one was really depressing. But this one, it is incredibly fun, and it's honestly the most fun Russo brothers one. Because they did Winter Soldier, they did Civil War, they did Infinity War. They're kind of known for doing the darkest part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In here, they came in and they were like, it's just the party, everybody. Like, this almost feels like the post-show wrap-up party is what it feels like.
Yeah.
But everybody's getting into it. It really is. Like, this entire movie is basically at the end of SNL when everybody gets out there and they start playing the going home music and they're like, hey, I want to thank everybody for coming out here. I want to thank this musical performance. Oh, hey, everybody, I just want to say thank you to my mom. I love everybody out there. And the camera starts pulling out and then they just start playing music and everybody's shaking their head like, yeah. That's what this entire movie basically is. But that is not to say that there aren't, like, very heavy moments in here as well.
Like, it has to be heavy. I mean, it's like after Thanos snaps, so it's like you're literally dealing with, like, half the entire universe gone. So it's like, yeah, there's going to be very somber moments. So, like, you need those happy moments.
In fact, it even opens up incredibly dark as well. And it's dark for a while in here. It's not until, and you saw this in the trailers, it's not until Scott Lang pops back up. Mm-hmm. And I just love the idea that Mark Ruffalo not Mark Ruffalo, although he's great in here too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the idea that Paul Rudd, it's physically impossible for him to be in something dark and depressing. Like, the man has too much charisma. But also, Mark Ruffalo has so much charisma in here. He is just at his A game in this movie in a way that you have never seen him before in any of the other films. I would be willing to say that pretty much everyone in here is like at the best they've ever been.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, this is the final one. Let's give it all we got, so.
Yeah, everyone showed up to work. And that's the thing that I always liked about the Marvel films. Aside from, as I said, like one really noticeable performance in their history, pretty much everybody, even if they didn't give the best performance, still really showed up to work. They still really tried. And that's what you're seeing in this, is that everybody is at their A game. This is probably the best Captain America we've gotten. This is probably the best Iron Man that we've ever gotten. This is definitely the best Hulk, I'd be willing to say, that we ever got. The one that I know some people are going to be mad about, though, is Thor. As I said, some time has passed in here, and Thor did not take what happened in Infinity War very well.
Don't spoil it too much.
I'm not going to say too much, but he went from, yes, I'm going to hold open this gate so a star blast can take me, and I'm going to the edge of reality, and I'm going to be the fun, charming guy that I was in my other films, and I'm going to be this and that, and I'm going, like, in Infinity War, if you were looking for badass Thor, that was him as A game. Here, he is sad sack Thor. Like, he is taking it worse than everyone else. And I know there's going to be some people out there, like, I'm not going to say to what extent, but I know there's going to be some people out there, it's like, yeah, this is the last one. I kind of wanted to see everybody at their A games. And acting-wise, yes, everyone's at their A games, but it also, like, I can see some people going, like, I kind of wanted to see Thor kind of being, like, the big badass that he was in the last film. He's not quite that. He still gets badass moments, but he, as I said, he takes it worse than anyone else in this film.
I kind of feel like that's important to, like, point out, because, like, you know, grief is something that, like, impacts us each differently. Like, we react to grief and loss differently. Some of us, you know, take it with stride. Others, like, need, like, a little more time to cope. And
some people, and some people just hit rock bottom, which is what he does in here. I have known people who's faced grief the way that he did, and everybody faces grief in their own way, but yeah, man, it is rough seeing someone go down that path. It's rougher than what happens to Hawkeye almost, like how he goes down the path. One thing that I will say about Hawkeye, you do see him in the trailers. You see that, oh, he's in the Ronin gear. He's in the Ronin gear from the comics. He is in there for one shot, and then that is immediately gone. And I was like, oh, that actually was a cool-ass costume, man. And it's kind of notorious that, God, what was his name? What was the actor's name? The guy who played Hawkeye. God, I cannot remember him. But it's kind of notorious that in the first film, Joss Whedon had a more traditional Hawkeye look for him with, like, the mask and everything. And he was like, I'm not wearing a mask. And yeah, the very first time that you see Ronin, he's got the actual Ronin mask from the comics. He peels that off. He never puts that shit back on again. I was like, that actually look cool! Go back to that. Oh, okay. Fine.
Nobody likes wearing masks, except for Iron Man.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah. Although even him, it's like, don't you have a secret identity? And I was watching Infinity War again to prepare for this one, and it was like, man, you just met Doctor Strange, and you're already going around without your mask on, and it's just, hi, I'm Peter Parker. It's like, do you not, like, your secret identity is supposed to be a big deal. Now, as I said, those are a few things I can see some people maybe having problems with. It's like, I kind of wanted to see Thor in his A game, and we don't really get Thor in his A game. Not that he still isn't a badass. And when I say A game, I'm talking specifically about, like, the people out there who was like, I want to see Thor being as big of a badass as he was in the last film. I can understand some people, like, being a little bit disappointed with that. And also, as I said, if you're one of those people out there who you're like, but A, B, C, and D, like, that doesn't quite add up, you will have problems with these, because I'm one of those guys, and I was trying to roll with the punches.
I was able to roll with the punches.
I think the vast majority of people are going to be able to roll with the punches. But I can see some people being like, that was fun, but wait, hold on, question. I can see people having that problem. But as I said, I'm not counting those as too much of a negative, especially the Thor thing. Because the Thor thing is entirely up to opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I am just letting people who wanted to see Thor be as much of a badass as he was in the last film know you are going to see a very different Thor in this.
Yes, this is a warning, not a spoiler.
Yeah, it is just saying, I can understand that there's going to be people out there who have that problem. I did not have that problem with Thor in this. When it comes to the plot holes, I did have a couple of... Hold on. Yeah, it's... But isn't this... I did have a couple things for that. But a lot of those, like, kind of problems that I had, or not problems, a lot of those, like, issues that I had with the plot holes in here, a lot of them kind of come up when thinking about the future Marvel films and how they'll impact the future Marvel films. And I kind of get the feeling like this movie came in here to say, don't worry about any of our films connecting from this point on. From this point on, you can all take a break. From this point on, you can all just chill out and just go and watch a Spider-Man movie and not have to worry about this connected to that and this and that. Mm-hmm. They're all still in a shared universe, so characters can still interact with each other. But I really get the feeling like this movie was coming in here and going, you don't, at least for the time being, have to worry about, like, and this leads up to this thing. And in fact, there's not even a post-credit stinger.
No, there are no stingers. So after sitting down for 3 hours, you can get up and go to the bathroom, not have to worry about missing anything.
Yes. I saw some people gain up as soon as the credits started rolling. I was like, how on earth can you go to this many Marvel films? Get a ticket for 7:25 a.m., go to the big finale, and still not sit around for the post-credit scene. I thought, maybe they know that there's not one coming up. Or maybe they just really have to pee. Maybe they just really have to tinkle. In which case, I would not be able to blame them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it does really feel like they just came in and went, job done. Like I said, this is the end of an SNL episode where everybody's just like, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, bye. Yeah, that's kind of what this is. And it's not saying that, we will not have future films that have characters that are connecting to each other. It's just like, there is not a phase 4. Mm-hmm. But there are plans for future stuff, and there is stuff that gets set up, and I was very happy about some of the things that got set up. There was one thing in particular, and I have had many people on Twitter contacting me saying, listen, man, there's got to be a thing in here at the end that I know you specifically are going to lose your mind. And yeah, I cried 4 times in the last half hour of this movie. Not even kidding. That was one of them. I cried very much at that one thing that you guys said, you're probably going to love this.
Yeah, I remember you, like, shaking your fist.
I couldn't not get my fist, like...
Like, as soon as that moment came up, I turned to you and I saw you with your fist up, like, yes!
Like, I was fighting to not... Because we saw this at the Alamo Draft House, and if you talk in the Alamo, they kick your ass out. Mm-hmm. And I want to go and see this at normal theater. I really want to go and see this at normal theater to gauge people's reactions. Because you could tell, like, people wanted to cheer you. Because every now and again, you would get one person, yes! Like, and then they would immediately, like, shut up. And at that one particular moment that the people who have seen this know what I'm talking about, someone went, word? Like, that was exactly what I said. And I went, yeah, word! But okay, let's go ahead and kind of, like, again, without doing any spoilers, let me just say, even though I did kind of have, like, a little bit of a nitpick with, like, but the plot holes in this connecting to that, I realized that this movie was like, you don't have to worry about that shit anymore. We're done.
It's like, should we explain, like, how Scott Lang came back, or would that be considered a spoiler?
I don't like, he was trapped inside the, you saw in the Ant-Man in credit scene that, yeah, he was trapped in the quantum realm. The machine turns on again. I won't say what, but it's like... It is a cool thing. It was a fine thing. It wasn't like, a big story thing. But I can understand some people looking at how he gets out of the quantum realm and saying, like, really? That's how it happened? And I'm just like, yeah, man. When you see how much time has passed, statistically, at some point that would probably happen. So, yeah, again, no spoilers on that one. But let me just go ahead and say, despite the little nitpicks that I had with, like, well, plot hole A and B here, like, despite those nitpicks, I realized that this movie was like, we're done. You don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. Like, that stuff really only hurts future movies if you now have to worry about, but everything has to connect. And I feel like this movie was coming in and saying, no, they don't. We can just be a fun superhero movie universe now. We don't have to worry about this shit connecting again. Which, makes me really glad because it doesn't feel like there's that pressure to see this stuff anymore. But it also feels really good that it's like, I have often said I don't think that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has made a bad movie. 22 freaking movies. They have not made a bad one. They've made a handful of... it's fine, I guess. But they didn't make any like, oh my god, wow. Like, we saw La Llorona last week, and then the week before that we saw Hellboy. They've never made anything like that. And I now feel like if the Marvel Cinematic Universe makes something like that, I'm like, cool, whatever. I don't have to care. I don't have to care anymore. You made it to the end. You made it to the literal end game of this. After here, do whatever the fuck you want. You could tank this ship so hard after this. I don't have to worry. You did the impossible. So there is that. But also, the positives in here are so good, I absolutely overlook a lot of but plot hole Abe, I absolutely overlook a lot of that. Because, yeah, at the end of this movie, without going into any spoilers, it's kind of another big fireworks display. And it's so much bigger than the last one. It is them basically going, we're going to try and fit as much stuff as you could possibly want to see into this.
Oh, it's Endgame, you have to.
Get everything on the table now, baby. Yeah, and I remember when I saw the first Avengers film, which I recognize that there are problems in the first Avengers film. I recognize that, objectively speaking, there's a lot of other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies that are better than the first Avengers film. I will totally say that, objectively speaking. You know, things like Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War are better than the first Avengers film. But the first Avengers film is still my favorite of the movies because I will never forget that feeling that I got as a longtime Avengers fan. Seeing that team come together and acting like that team and seeing all that work together and seeing this crazy idea actually paying off. And no other Marvel film has ever given me quite that feeling that I got at that moment until the end of this one. At the end of this one, I just went, you somehow top that. You somehow freaking top that. Yeah, I was amazed at the end of this film.
And even though there were so many characters, they all managed to have their own time to shine, their own screen time. So.
Yeah, we're not gonna go into who shows up.
No.
That's spoilers up. But there's many people at the end of this. There are many people, and yeah. They made sure to stop and go, you get a badass moment, you get a badass moment, you get a badass moment. Everybody gets a badass moment in here. And one thing that I did enjoy is that, the Avengers that we get in here, it's the original 6 Avengers plus Rocket and Nebula. But, on the trail, they were really hyping up a lot that Captain Marvel was going to be she's the one who's going to come in and save that. She's going to be the one who defeats Thanos, everybody. And I'm a big Captain Marvel fan. I did really enjoy her movie. But speaking in terms of storytelling, I kept hearing them talk about, she's going to be the one that stops Thanos. I kept hearing that. It's but this is kind of like the original Avengers all coming back together, and they're the ones who we've been following this entire time, and she literally just appeared right before this movie.
Yeah, but
it kind of would be a little bit awkward, to say the least, if okay, from the start we lead all up to this moment, and then the character that you just met is the one who comes in and saves the day. That's a little Deus Ex Machina.
I understand, but at the same time, they hyped up Captain Marvel so much that I honestly thought that maybe she would just single-handedly beat the crap out of Thanos.
Yeah.
So I was like, gee, what's the point of having the Avengers?
That was my other real concern in this as well. But I will say, she is actually in here very little.
Yes.
And what they do with her is actually, they use her just the right amount in here. They use her very well in this film in order to go, we realize she kind of just got here, so the other characters need more screen time because this is their story. She's still got sequels. She's still got this whole path in front of her. She's got all this stuff that's going to happen for her in the future. But these are the characters that this is the completion of their story arc. We're not going to have Captain Marvel come in here as the new shiny toy overshadow the old toys. We're not going to have that. So I think that they used her just right in here.
Yeah.
Where she came in here, she was a big old badass. She did a lot of stuff that you want to see Captain Marvel do, but still they were yeah, but this is Iron Man and Cap and Hulk and Thor's story. They're the ones who have been here this entire time. So they're the ones that this is them wrapping up their storylines. And yeah, listen, we know for a fact that Robert Downey Jr. said this is his last of the Marvel films. Chris Evans. Wow, you combine together, it is Kevin. Chris Evans said that this is his last Marvel film. So you know that they get some kind of a send-off in here. I will not be saying what that send-off is, but both of them get some kind of a send-off in here. And yes, lick that finger. Yay, Peach. You have the wettest nose. But yeah, they do get some kind of send-off. I thought that was handled very well.
Mm-hmm. I thought so too.
Absolutely. All right, I think that is about as much as we can possibly talk about this without getting into the spoilery stuff. Because we've literally had to cut twice during this video. Because we're like, wait, that might be kind of spoilery. Let's pull back on this. Let's pull back. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and give our scores. I'm gonna give this. It's so hard for me.
It's so hard not to give it like a perfect 10.
Kind of.
Or like 9.5?
I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10 because, as I said, I can't help but go, but A, B, and C, wait, but then this thing, hold on now, wait, hold on. Yeah, I can't help but do that. But, yeah, man, everything else in here is so goddamn good. Like, this, it was not the ending I was expecting because, like I said, I thought it was just going to be them gathering everyone up to go and fight Thanos, and that's like the B plot of this movie. And it does kind of feel weird at first. I was like, that's not what we're doing. Wait, hold on. But then when you realize, like, what they are doing and how that is basically, as I said, the big send-off to everything in this universe, it worked for me. Mm-hmm. It's just the little plot holes that I can't help but be like, but hold on, but this thing. Yeah, I can't help but that. So because of that, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. But the 10s in here, the 10 out of 10 moments, they're 11 out of 10 moments. They are so good. What about you?
I think I'm either like a 10 or a 9.5 because the plot holes didn't bother me as much as it did you. And I thought like this movie was like a great way to wrap up the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. Which that's crazy to think that, man, it's not like it isn't a thing anymore, but it kind of reminded me of when we saw Shazam. Mm-hmm. And in Shazam, like, not to spoil it, but there is a guest appearance by another character from within the DC Cinematic Universe, but it didn't feel like, and this is how it all connects. It felt more of like, yeah, we're just kind of worried about Shazam, but we're going to play around with the idea that he exists in a world with other people. It feels like that's what Marvel's going to do from now until like they start making X-Men Fantastic Four movies, because who knows, they might start setting up Galactus as the next Thanos, who knows. But I think that's going to be a couple of years. Mm-hmm. I think Marvel's giving everybody a break for now. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, you can all just enjoy going to the movies. You can enjoy like not having to follow an 11-year-long storyline. We can all just take a breather now, everybody. Okay, cool. I'm 100% happy with that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's the send-offs that happen in here, not to specific characters, but to the idea of we've been building this up for that long. It's great. Mm-hmm. It's like the whole idea of look at everything that we did, everybody. Yeah. Let's just turn around and be proud of what we did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it works in here. So yeah, I freaking love this movie, and I just love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I started getting like emotional when I saw that we didn't start the fire video that they all came together to make. Because it's just them going through all the other movies. I was like, oh my God, we've been through so much. We've been through so much together, everyone. That's awesome. It's an incredible thing that happened here, everybody. I saw a massive Star Wars fan on Twitter saying, listen, guys, I have been looking for, when Force Awakens came out, it was a thing unlike anything I'd ever experienced because it was Star Wars finally coming back and being Star Wars. But even I will admit, Endgame is going to be bigger than anything Star Wars has ever done because we've never seen anything quite like this. And it's like, yeah, man, this is insane to think about the fact that we've never seen anything like this. And other people might be able to do something like this again, in which you take 11 years to build up to something. But even then, it'll be like, yeah, but it wasn't the first time that happened. It wasn't the first time that we got something like this. So, yeah, this is an incredible experience. But the thing is, as I have said many times with things like Infinity War, with the first Avengers film, with many of the films like that, I just got to give them credit for the fact that they didn't fuck it up. That there's so much right on this. But in a way, I feel like this thing was after so much success, I don't know how they could have possibly screwed it up. But it's not like they just rested on their laurels. It is like, no, we're going to make sure we get this stuff done. We're going to make sure that we do it right. And again, considering the fact that a large chunk of this film is just going, remember this thing. Some people might argue that they are just resting on their laurels, like, hey, everybody, remember that, like, nostalgia for the old films, everyone. But no, the story that they do in here actually has massive, like, it's designed specifically to make the audience really appreciate this big-ass journey, while at the same time also kind of showing us, like, the extended depth of this universe. So, yeah, man, 9 out of 10, because I can't help it with those plot holes in there. But, yeah, man, it's great. So, thank you guys very much for tuning in. This was difficult talking about this without doing any spoiler stuff.
Yeah.
So come back in a few days for the actual spoiler talk. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Come back next time.
Bye.
Bye.